So thank you very much. I'll probably going to start and give you my background a little bit, and definitely I'll ask you a background, though we're already delayed for 15 minutes, so we'll be short of time. Try to cover our level-based maximum input towards Informatica and what is the need and how do we use Informatica in the industry today. Let me give you my background before starting. Yeah, definitely, Chaitanya, you asked me, can you please brief the agenda? Definitely, we'll come up to the agenda and let me talk about a bit of myself first. And then we'll give you my background, my detail, my industry experience, which are the company I've worked upon. And then we're going to start the agenda and definitely probably go on for more question and answer session. Okay. So as you can see my screen, as people have confirmed that you guys can see me and hear me well. So the question box is already there. Keep asking me a question if you have any question, any doubt. I would probably able to handle those questions during the call or maybe end of the call or the end of the session where we have a question answer at the end of this call. First of all, good evening everybody and good morning people not in India. My name is Indrabhushan and I'm an MCA gold medalist in 2001 batch. I've been in industry for the last 13-14 years and working in a couple of companies I can see. I started my career with Nucleus, RBS, SAS, Syntel, HSBC, Wipro, Oracle, and the current company is actually Virtusa Hyderabad. If you can see the exposure of a BI tool, I've been working in Cognos, SAP, MicroStrategy, BI, ClickView, SAS, Pentahawk, Tableau, ClickView, and a couple of more BI tools. If you come to a data integration tool, Informatica has been working close to 10-12 years now, starting from 6.1 version up to 9.6.1, which is the latest one. I've been also working the Oracle data integration, and we're working in a Talent, which is an open source studio in the market now. Work for Oracle and SQL Server, a couple of more, custom development software so far. So that's all my introduction. I will not take much brief introduction. Coming to the presentation and the agenda, what we're going to do here. So this would be a kind of a management in Informatica Power Center. We'll talk about what Power Center is all about and what is the agenda for today's webinar. Just to give you a brief idea. So if you talk about the objective of today's webinar would be Informatica and Informatica product suite. We understand Informatica Power Center Designer, which is a mapping tool. We'll understand a Power Center workflow where we have to design your tasks and execute them. And also we'll see monitor where we can see actual how many data is performing, where we can see it has been failed, pass or so on. And the agenda and motto for this webinar would be more from a practical aspect. I would definitely cover more from a practical exposure than only reading a slide and we talk about thoroughly, not much. We'll show you the presentation. We'll show you the actual Informatica tools and their objectives. So let's get going, guys, and without any further delay, I'll probably execute them. So the first important thing is let's talk about Informatica as a product company. What is being a product and how the Informatica been doing. So Informatica Corporation, basically a product-based company. They provide especially product and data integration software services for various business or industries or even for government organizations. They were in various vertical, let it be in BFSI, healthcare, financial and insurance, or maybe a petroleum or any oil and gases. So if you talk about Informatica, it's been founded in 1993, right? If you talk about a revenue today, 2015, it's going to be 1.6 billion. So they're a bigger company altogether, and they've been consecutively 7 years, they've been getting awards for it. And the percentage you can see 30% per year, the growth is phenomenal growth in the industry so far. In any company happened in the industry for the last 30-40 years. If you say employees, it having 5,500 plus employees across the country. So they have 450 plus measures, partners, maybe a training reseller or SI partners over the demand in industry across the different and various countries, offices they have been having. If you say customers, they have more than 5,000 customers across 82 countries, and they present since in different kind of a vertical as well. Going further, Informatica products and their functionality, they are majorly, if you see, they are more into data integration and ETL. That's the major one. They are also in Informatica life cycle management, complex event processing, data masking, data quality, replication, virtualization, master data management, and ultra messaging. Currently, we are working on 9.6.1, that the version is. Now, let's talk about very specific what all these are and why do we need these all stuffs. So, if you talk about this is what is overall product family. Okay. So, just to give you more in the detail and the understanding of this particular product, Informatica has a wide excellence suite of products. So one of them, if you talk about a data quality, we'll talk about what is a data quality and why do we need a data quality a little later in the slide. We have a complex event processing, we have a master data management, we also have B2B data exchange. Informatica is one of the ETL tool in industry. They have been pretty much widely accepted in cloud data integration. They have application island, which is a lifecycle management, we'll talk about later. They've been very much available in the messaging systems called ultra messaging, and the last but not the least called enterprise data integration. This is being actually Informatica being known for various industries, various years. Okay. To get into more from Informatica products and their functionality. So who is being using, who are the users, what are the kind of projects you can really deliver with, and what environment you can really work upon. So users can be a business user. A business user probably need a data, probably you want to do more analysis, probably you want to do more grade into and get the business decisions. So they need a data, so there would be a user like a business user, a business end user, being a financial, insurance, telecom, or any kind of business user. If you say come to an analyst, see analyst is the person, an end user, who basically do the strategic role and can help a management to decide and do the analysis of specific data and get to know what is the trend, how the things happening, what should be the next, which is a predictive modeling. So those all aspects of the analyst. Basically, the people are from a statistics background, mathematical background, which they come across and do a lot of data handlings in analysis. There would be a kind of architect like us. I'm also an architect. So what architect does is they understand a data, they define a data, and also they've been using those data for a various kind of a project because they need to do a solutioning of a couple of business requirements. If you come to a developer, yes, you guys have been coming for the training and you guys will be a developer. That's one of the users who develop an Informatica map for a perspective of a company, data migration, and a different kind of projects altogether. If you come to a steward, who is a steward? They are basically known as data steward. They are basically defining a data. They understand data family pretty well. They understand what is number, what is character. So they have to define the data. So this is one of the users. Coming to projects, so there would be a projects for analytics where you can define and see what is the analysis happening within the data. You will have to have your OLAP reporting or BI reporting systems comes across. So those analytical reporting, you need to have Informatica come in place where they can do a measure and I would say predominantly a bigger role where they can pull the data from a data warehouse, putting in, and then later on they publish the report from there. A lot of time you have an application to application and business to business data movement. That's called a data migration from one to another. It might be a version upgrade or it might be one application to another. We're putting your data one place to another. For example, if you're doing a business process equipment and then you need a data from one of the source system, or you already have one application like in a SCM to HR or HR to finance. So there we need an Informatica to come in place. As I've already mentioned, data migration is very important aspects. So you can migrate data from your production to ODS, which is operational data source. Later on, you can use it for a source system for your data warehousing and reporting perspective. You do a lot of data quality aspects. So when you have a quality, you need always a data. You have a proper meaning and logical data. Somebody wants to put a dash, and somebody wants to put hash, which does not mean anything later on from a perspective of business decision. So quality has to come across. Big data, very much popular. Hadoop is one of the important big data that's coming in, which is SDFS. It's called Hadoop Data Distributed File Systems, where they have a bigger file, bigger data, and their parallel processing, where Informatica come in place. Master data management probably is being using more from making your code as a master. For example, one customer has a different codes, customer code, or you have a one product has a different codes where you can define them, have a master data management. Information life cycle is basically industry or a company grows from lower to bigger, and each movement they have a bigger data. So growing bigger and managing those data from smaller to bigger, it's called a life cycle management. Let's talk about more from environment, department to enterprise. So when you say department is going to, as you can see that size is small in size and enterprise is more bigger. So department can be HR, for example, and a company like an Oracle having an HR within that. So this is how enterprise can place. Cloud, as you may already know that cloud is very much popular now these days. People would like to have their data on cloud, as Informatica is already there in the cloud, very much available. Hadoop system, as you said, big data has been very much popular, and this is one of the environment where, especially for social analytics and other data comes in place. If you say embedded, yes, the older data, legacy data, you cannot forget them because still a lot of companies, especially for banks and telecoms, are still running on. So here, actually, we can talk about a little more in detail, but which already have discussed in the past of your, kind of projects. The Power Center is a data integration tool. Information lifecycle, as already discussed, is basically handling a data from lower to a bigger and also a legacy systems. If you talk about complex event processing, it's basically rule-based. It's a business engine where you define your business and it basically comes in an alert and event mechanisms. Data masking is one of the important aspects. I'll give you one example. If you're having some kind of solution and you go to a bank saying that, Mr. Bank, we can give you a solution where this can really give you a return of investment, which is called ROI. So bank says, why not? We'll definitely want to see your POC, which is proof of concepts. But the only thing is, say, Mr. Customer, can you just also provide your data so that we can give you our product more definition and more specific towards your data requirement? So bank says, Mr. Vendor, we cannot give you our data because it's in a production data, and first, it is a financial data which is being very confidential, and it's a customer's information and also the financial stuff. So we cannot give you as per the norms. So whereas data masking comes in place, there's a face over a mask. So there's a mask over the data. So what Informatica does, it gives you, when you have a figure, it gives you XXS. So those XXX, and when you write a password, it gives you the asterisk. Similarly, it gives you the XXS instead of your figure. And you have to do encryption and decryption to get your data actually for the calculation. So that's called a data masking. It's very important in the industry. Data quality, as I said, it's very clean data which is getting from production for your highly being used for a business perspective. For example, profiling. Data profiling is being using, for example, there's an address and 4 people being writing like I would say New Space Delhi, New Delhi, and New Delhi. So there would be search, and each search gives you one record. So what we do is we profile them as a New Space Delhi. So all 3 addresses becomes New Space Delhi. So when you search them, it gives you 3 records. So those are the benefits of data profiling. Data application, as I said, you can do a real-time transaction application. For example, you have a bank, ATM information. You have I would say an airways where you talk about reservation and cancellation. Instantly you can see what is the detail. Then your data virtualization. Very important aspect of people using today. So data virtualization, physically not loading data from source to transaction. It creates in-memory data, temporary tables, where they basically take all the data from different various enterprises and they do a data federation there and load directly to your reporting repository. Thank you. This is for the data virtualization. When it comes to a master data management, this looks, as I said, a customer or kind of a product. A lot of companies use one product code for a different product code, and each time when you run this product, it has 5 different codes. So if you do a invoicing or when do for a revenue calculation, you don't know how much the product you sold. For that matter, what we do, we come to MDM, which is Master Data Management. It really helps to map all 5 different codes to a one, and probably it's really help you in a business decisions. Similar like a customer. So my name is Indra Bhushan. So people write IB, Indra Bhushan. So all 4 codes are available. So those gonna map in one code which is called Indra Bhushan, and then it really maintains towards the complete database. Okay, so there's one question has come. MDM has its own tool, or Power Center tool is used for master data management as well. Chaitanya, yes, MDM has a specific tool, but Power Center helps you to do MDM data loading. So MDM has its own databases, like Oracle can be used, whereas Informatica can help you do MDM concept altogether. And Informatica has Informatica MDM tool itself. So tool is going to be Informatica, and database could be a SQL, Oracle, SAP, whichever be. I hope I have answered your question, Chaitanya. Thank you very much, Chaitanya. Continuing the next, ultra messaging. So this is again a messaging system. For example, there's a Microsoft Queue. Basically, this is being used for in a pull and push methodology, where you're reading your database directly on your production data at certain intervals, without your downloading and without your holding your database on production. And it's basically 24/7 available. Okay. To continue with this, let's talk about more from a Power Center perspective. What is a Power Center and why do we need this? So we're going to start a Power Center. It's an ETL tool. We've primarily been using for enterprise data integration platform. A lot of companies been using for a data migration, data masking, and couple of MDM and so other different kind of projects, as we already discussed earlier. It is an ETL tool. We'll talk about what is ETL. It's called extract, transform, and load. So extract, that means you're reading a database. Transform, there would be business logic written on the top of data which you're reading, and loading would be loading in your target data warehouse or a data mart with your logic being implemented. So I would say, what are the major advantages? The advantage is basically it's a robust, it's scalable. It comes in both Windows and Unix platforms. So people who've been working from Unix need not to be a very getting a downfall, because you have a Unix environment as well. So Linux and Windows, both people can really work upon and can use the same thing. So Power Center basically, you read a lot of heterogeneous sources. I will talk about later on in the diagram itself. You can see it can access anything or everything. The main advantage we talk about, as I said, it's being robust. It is a scalable. It's being pretty, I would say, user friendly. Once you see that tools, you probably will get to know much about that. It's being very highly performing, and development and administration is very easy. So basically the reason if we talk about the version history, if you say Informatica currently is being 9.6.1 in February 2015, and hotfix coming too. If you have to go more about the Informatica and their more product information, you can visit to informatica.com for various more information. Coming to a single unified architecture, what Informatica looks like, how Informatica gonna work, especially a Power Center. So Informatica is a company and Power Center is a product which we're gonna use. Okay. So having said that, if you can see the provider here, this is the source systems, these are the tools, and these are the consumers. That means these are the targets. So the provider can be XML. You have a messaging and web services, as you can see that. You have a packaged application like SAP and Oracle applications. You got a relational like a database and a flat files. Also, it has a mainframe, which is legacy systems. If you come to a Power Center, they have an administration as a browser. We'll definitely talk about more. I'll show you later on, which is already here. You can see that. Then we have a designer, manage and monitor. These are the client tools which they have to connect to the domain. We'll talk about now itself. Then they have a service management, which is very important. So they have integration services, talk on the repository services and also web services. They use a metadata repository, which Informatica works internally behind as the architecture works upon. And if you can talk about the consumer, so the similar consumer can be used again as the provider was. It can be it creates a dashboards, reports top of your data. It can also produce flat file XMLs, and also it reads to SAP with the adapter called SAP adapter. Informatica can read that. That's the benefit of any provider can become a consumer. So if you can see that Power Center, if you talk about in architecture, it has a server, it has a clients. So we'll talk about a server bit, and we'll talk about what is RDWM and also repository here. So R stands for your repository manager, which is a metadata manager. D stands for a designer, W stands for workflow manager, M stands for workflow monitor, which is monitoring your tasks, and definitely Power Center administration console, which is a browser-based administrator system. So just to let you know a bit of them, If you come to a pass center, we'll talk about a bit of the architecture, how probably it works. It's very important for you guys to really know how the architecture works and how Informatica basically works. So let me know if you guys don't understand, and any question you still have that, I'll probably try to handle it, or maybe end of this session, whichever is going to be best. So first of all, let's talk about an architecture, the first important thing comes, which is the domain. When you say domain is basically a kind of a server which Informatica runs with. It also has a node, and node and domain basically works of a combination. So number of node can becomes one domain, which is one is master and another is slave. So domain works as a server and nodes works as a slave nodes. It's being using for a kind of architecture itself. So if you come to domain, it has two services, which is the repository services here, and then have integration services. You can see there's a two databases being already there. So you have a domain metadata and repository. So these are actually Oracle or SQL or any databases in the world which holds the metadata information, and Informatica works upon. As you can see that the browser, you can see here that Informatica administration being maintained and management done by your HTTPS browser. And you can see that source and target are being connected with ODBC and native drivers. So you can connect your Oracle, SQL, DB2 or any kind of databases altogether. If you can see, there are a lot of client coming here. It's a repository, designer, workflow, and monitor. We're going to see actual practical, not only the theoretical here. Will not make sense until you see them practically. Okay. So we'll talk about a designer as a part of a client. So what designer does? This is a designer, and probably I'll show you more from a practical exposure. So we'll have a source, target, transformation, mappings, and other objects. So before going to the technical steps, I'll probably able to show you the first of all the masters, the domain. So let me show you the folder structure of where it's going to store and what exactly you can see them. So when you install Informatica, it creates one Informatica folder, and there would be server and client two installation, different installation. So I would respect, please use the same folder where you can see that a server and clients tools are coming in. So if you come to a server, you have administration homepage. You click it here, it automatically opens the homepage. While installation, you give them a user ID password for a domain. So that I'm going to use it. Please remember, you note it down your installation, and definitely will also help you for installation, give you a guideline, and there's already documents is available over the internet of our website. So I'll give you a brief information how server works, and then we get into the tools, and I'll show you a couple of one or two kind of ETL management, how really Informatica works. So you can see that there's something called a domain, as already rightly mentioned. So you can see the property of the domain. So this is being majorly used for a management of administration, where you can do the domain management. It gives you the logs. So what are things happening today? What are the logs available? You can still see that. So these are the logs coming in, right? It gives you a complete idea of your logs, what is happening, what are the errors. So you can see there's those errors has come. So you can do the management. So errors can be domain level, it can be service level, it can be user activity, and also your log aggregator. So there will be monitoring stuffs coming in. You can monitor the domain, how many times shut down and how many other stuffs. You can create the reports, which is most important. Okay. So I think there's one more question has come from Chaitanya. Do we have two separate DBs for one of the repository? Yes, Chaitanya, just to answer your question, we have to have two separate databases. I'll show you to answer your question. It's been a pretty good question, I would say. So before installing, you have to do, I'll say you have to connect info DOM. That's what I have created. Info DOM @XC. That's what the database of mine. So it will create 169. You can see that it's connected. So what I'll do, I'll show you the number of count. Gives you 169. This is for a domain and server information. It does not contain your repository information. It does not has your source target at all. It has only the information we can see here. It has the domain name. It has a node name. You can see what is the name of the node, what are the port is being running in, right? What is the host name, and the repository name, and the the repository services and integration services. All of them gonna stored here. And actually, when you create a repository, there's another, I would say another user you have to create, another schema, especially in Oracle, which is rep. So I've created a repository. You can see it's going to be 515 tables here. So this is two different things. One is for a domain, one is for repository. I hope I've answered your question, Chaitanya. Yes, there's going to be two different schemas in the same database. Right, Chaitanya. You have one database called Lexi, but there's two different schemas. In Oracle, we call it actually schemas. And we have one same database, which is Oracle instance. Thank you very much. You will have a license information also, though it's a license based. As of now, it's non-expiry. You can see that the license number and serial number is being already shown here. So without delaying any further, I'll go into the other practical tool, client tool. So this is the server. As you can see that you'll have to manage them. So you have to, after the installation of your Informatica, you have to go and create your repository, which will create 515 tables here for your metadata perspective. And then integration services would be based on repository. Okay, not to take much of the time, if you go to a folder where probably you will have your client coming in, which is here. So you can see the Power Center client, all the clients are available. So I click on repository manager. So this is the first place where you have to create one folder. And once you create a repository, you have to, add the repository here with the add repository. And after that, you have to configure them. As you can see that I have already configured a repository services for my domain. So you can see double click or you can say connect. You put the administration ID and password while installing. You have done it before. So once you're connected, you can see that there are a lot of folders coming in. So as I've taken a lot of batches here, it's been running. So for example, I double click here. There are a lot of source target. This is the base folder. So this is the main structure. Any folder you create, you'll have the same structure in any folder. So they have their metadata. So what are the sources they have been already taken in the designer? So it has designer information, it has a workflow information, session information. So what I'll do, the first important thing is after you created the first time installation, you have to create a new installation and new folder. So I say info webinar, that's the first folder I'll create. So folder has been created. As of now, you can't see anything here until you connect from designer. Okay. Now there's a fourth thing it's coming: repository, manager, designer, workflow and monitor. So click in here, automatically it opens the designer, which is the tool where you have to do all the best. Okay, it is being already connected and shows a couple of things. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'll disconnect. Okay, so you can disconnect from here. You can see the folder which I have created in the repository, it's coming here. So I'll connect with the same password. Now you say info webinar. Can you see the same structure coming in here? If you can see in any other structure, it looks like similar. But the only thing is you got a sources here, whereas UNOD is there. So we'll create it here now. We'll help you how to do that. So most important part now you have to think. I'll be going a little slow. Let me know if you have any issues we are not able to understand or some question, as Chaitanya asked good questions. I'm pretty happy. So these are the tools available. We have a source analyzer. So once you click here, you can see that a lot of source coming in. You got a target and you got a mapping. So the first important thing is, in your case, you connected to info webinar. So you disconnect here, you connect to webinar. It's already connected, so you need not to worry. So you click it in the tool side. You can see you've connected here. Now the only thing is, this is the workplace. You have to import your source. I'll again repeat. You have to import your source, and only the metadata gonna store in Informatica repository, which is being RAP. So wherever you work in 4 of the tools, repository, designer, workflow and monitoring, wherever you do, whatever you do is gonna store in rep, which is a repository. Okay. So let's get into and import some of the source. So here is the source. You can see that we can connect database. We can take the input file, flat file. We can have a COBOL file as an input, and we can also import the XML definition. So let's, as of now, go for first two. Let's go for a database. Once you click on database, it's an ODBC connectivity. So you can connect your ODBC. Well, you have to connect your ODBC, a kind of a DSN, data source name. DSN stands for. Let me check the configuration which I've used in, let me see whether it's running or not. So my database's name is called SampleDB. That's what the name is. So I'm gonna just test whether SampleDB is working, not working, failure, success, whatever. It says yes, it is connected. That means very much working. So I'm going to use Con Oracle, which is called Connection Oracle. I'm going to use the SampleDB and the password, and I use all and say connect. Abhay says I faced problem while using the lookup transformations. Very simple, Abhay. It's going to be more from a target and source combination. Let's talk about a basic first. I mean, a lot of people will be not having a background from Informatica. So let's talk about a simple, transformations. So I'm taking the SampleDB. I have got tables here. Now I'll take one of the table or maybe two of the tables. So you can select with the control multiple tables. You can select them, or you can select them by one or two. So whichever you feel like. Okay, Chaitanya is saying what is a direct driver instead of okay. Data Direct is basically a company which comes for an ODBC driver, and when you install Informatica, it automatically gets installed. Okay, so these are the source which I'm taking in. My Informatica does not have it. You need to get downloaded from website. Otherwise, it should having it. It also depends on your the operating system. So as of now, you can see that it's coming two things, which is it has a internal join, which is department and your employee. So in here you will have these sources coming in. So if you click it here, and once you import them, you have to say save it. So what you have to do, you have to repository and you have to say Control S. You can see a couple of things coming here at the back end. See here, it says this is inserted. So what actually it is inserted into the repository manager. So let's go and see. You can't see anything here unless you refresh it. You refresh and you get these input. So these are the metadata you can see and coming in. Let's continue part in the designer. So as we already rightly mentioned, so this is an output window where you can see all the changes coming in. So once source is done, you have another is called target. So what you're going to do is you will have a target coming in. So you can see a source which is an Oracle connection, a database connection with two input, which is two different tables. Okay, now let's go to a target. So I'm going to go and target and import from database once again. I've already said we have a connection, SampleDB, and connect them. So here I'm saying there's a connection is already there. We'll talk about department total salary, one of the target. I'll take this. So benefit is you can minimize them as an icon. You will double click and can be bigger. It'll show you the complete metadata altogether. So once you double click, it shows you the property. It talks about a table. Here it's saying data type. So Oracle Sybase data, and once it is flat file, it will show you the flat file. I'll cancel it for a while. It shows you the number of columns. Just to give an idea, until you're not doing a mapping, Informatica treat as a column, but when you go for mapping, Informatica treat as a port, P-O-R-T port. The definition is a port of a column. Indexes, metadata. So as of now, these are the columns. The proper benefit is you can also preview your data which is already there in your production, the target data. You give them a connection, all the information, it is going to show you the data if they already have available some. It shows it's already available something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the data if it is already available something. So let's open this for a while. Just going to open it and I'll delete them and I'll go for one particular transformation, and I'll show you end-to-end the way it works. So now we have source, now we have a target. Let's go and create one mapping here. So you can see there's a target coming in, there's a source coming in. Let's go and create mapping. So you go on mapping, click and create. Before going in mapping, I'll probably able to help you one thing more. So target, there's a two way of creating a target. One is a manual creation, one is the import. So import you already done. You can also create the target sitting here. So for example, you have to create TRG, for example, M data. Select the database, which is Oracle. Click on create. It will create. Double click that, add your columns if you want. For example, I say emp number. Put your department, data type itself, whatever data type you're looking for. For example, number. If it is a primary key, put a primary key. Put all other number, other columns. Fine. So I'll create very simple just to let you know how it really works. Okay. And once you say okay, it has been created. So what you do, you select them, go for a target, generate and execute SQL, structured query language. So what you do, you actually do a selected table. You say create table, primary key and foreign key. If it is index, also yes. Say generate and execute. What it does, it will ask you where you want to generate. So you're gonna see what exactly is happening and how it's basically happening, how you create it. You'll create. So before that, I'll just show you. This is the sample DB database I have, which will not having the table which I'm creating in Designer now, which is this. So I just want to make sure. Okay, these are the tables. So definitely there's no table is available at all with this name. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to simply say connect. So you can see at the bottom here, it says successfully generated, create table, and this is what it's saying, this is what they created. So this is what you can say Control S, go and check whether you already have your tables here. So what you have to do, you simply refresh at the back. So you can see that TRG employee data, that's what I've created just now from Informatica. So sitting there, you can still connect. Okay. So this is what is one of the way you've imported. You have also manually created. There's another way, it's called automatically target creation. So what you do, you simply take the source from here and you drag it here to the area of target workspace. It will be same. What you have to do is you simply go rename them if you want. You say target employee data, for example. You have your Oracle. Simple. You'll go and do the same what you've done just now. You execute them. You can see that still data has created. So this is three way of creating of your target of your Informatica. Let's go and refresh. Definitely we'll have another table coming in. As you can see here, it is again created. Similar structure, need not to worry. Okay, so I'll come to the mapping here. In mapping, you have to say create mapping, put the name. The standard would be naming convention. Let's say I'm using transformation aggregator. So let's talk about AGGR. So you'll have a source, you drag it so source. So you'll have source, transformation, and you'll have target for a mapping. To show it once, you have actual source and you have a source qualifier, which is again a transformation. The use of source qualifier is, you can see that port, as I already said, it becomes a port like a column. You have a property, you can override the SQL. You can simply generate the SQL. For that you need to put the ID and user ID and password. It will connect. sample DB. So you're going to override the SQL if you have to write any SQL command here. So as of now, you're taking all of the data. Currently, you're taking select asterisk, right? So you can connect them if possible. Let me check. I think it is already connecting. I don't think so. There's an issue. It says connecting. Anyway, so as of now, let's take all of the data. We're not gonna override. This is basically for an override, SQL override. We'll take it for some other time. Probably for the SQL overrider. I'm using Oracle Axis. Sometimes it has an ODBC connectivity issue as well. Okay. Next, what I'm going to do is the source is already done. We'll take a target, which is the total salary here. So we'll put it the target. You can see target is coming here. It says department total with the total number of department. So department number and the total salary coming in. So here is basically a kind of a transformation of aggregator. I'll click this. There's a two-way. When I click it from here, or else I can go and create a transformation from here of aggregator, and you put the name. So I say transfer AGGR. So what you're going to do is you will take your department number and your salary, two input, need not to take much, fine. So double click on the port. You can see the first thing is you have to do a group by a department name. That is very important. And you are not taking them as a output first, and next you have to do is you have to create one of the source. So I say total salary. You're creating a total salary. It's only an output. You're not giving any input. Siddha says, can you generate an SQL in the source qualifier? Yes, we can do that. Okay. So what you're going to do is you will be using a sum function here, which is sum sal. You just validate. If any error, it will automatically pop up here. You say okay. You can see here what we're doing is you're taking an out. As of now, we need a department to also go for in. We don't need a salary to be, it cannot be out. So we don't need out. It's only in. The only two things I'm taking out. So we have a three-way: input, output, and variable, and then expression. So the input is your salary. Department is also input, and also we're taking as an output, whereas total is only for output. So once you say okay, what you're going to do next is you simply drag department number to the next and total salary to the next. And after that you say Control S. It says whether it's valid or not. There's another way you can simply go and mapping, and you say valid. It gives you whether it's a valid or invalid. It says valid. There's a two-way of Informatica who normally usage arrangement of all the transformations or all the items here. You can say arrange all, so it will give you arrangement of all the stuffs, all the objects, and you can say iconic. So this is more better, where you can figure out what is actually happening and what are the transformation you're being using and how it works. So this is the first thing where you do a mapping. Your mapping is ready. You got a source, you got a target, you got a transformation. Now let's say you'll have to go for a workflow manager and the monitor. So I'll show you if the data is available. Probably we'll go and delete the data as I've already mentioned before. Pradeep is asking for data aggregator, should we go for sorted and input or unsorted input? Depends what kind of data you're coming in, Pradeep, and it's very early stage to talk about sorted or unsorted. If you have to have sorted, your aggregator will take less cache. Okay, so now let's go to, this is a workflow. So what you're going to do is, first of all, you have to go and create, there's a three, I would say, workspace. One is task developer, then workflow designer. So let's gonna be a task. First of all, create a task here. So the three kind of a task, you can say session, command, and email. Session is work as a session, command you can have in a command line, and also email. So let's use session as of now. I would name it as transformation AGGR. That's the standard we normally use it. Once you create, it will ask you which map you want to create a task. So as of now, we have only one map. I'll create them. Okay. So before going, this is the task created. Before going this, I would love to tell you there's a connection required. Whenever you go for a task, you have to make them a connection. So you will have definitely in ETL environment, you may have a source different, target different. You will have a UAT environment, you have a production environment. So you have to go and mention your databases. So as you can see that I've already mentioned the Oracle ETL Oracle, which is being has a sample DB. So when you go for task, double click on a task. I'll let you know a couple of important steps. The important you have to go in your mapping aspects. So you need to see whether your ETL, which is taking a database, has the relation as or not. I've already mentioned that you already created a connection. So this is what the connection I was talking about earlier. You need to see these all stuffs. What is the table and what other stuffs, the source name. And then you have a transformation. Transformation is still an relational, so we have to mention the ETL. That's what I'm using as. Now, there's a target load type. There's a two load, which is a normal and bulk. Bulk talks about all the bulk data together, whereas you're going to have one pipeline, which is bulky, whereas normal going to be a single line insert. You can see that insert, delete, and truncate. We'll talk about truncate table option soon. Just say OK. Control S, so that it inserted to a repository. After your task is done, we'll go in workflow designer. You will create a workflow. So create a workflow. We'll have a workflow name, and you can write the name of your transformation. Do we always use a create a reusable session or mapping? It can be reusable if you have created once map, but the first time you have to create the complete task and map Sridhar. I'll also give you the shortcut right now. I'll show you how. Don't have to do these all stuff. I'll give you a shortcut. Okay. Once you created a kind of a workflow designer, you already have a task at the session level. So you drag and drop at the workspace. There's something called a link task. So you're going to start and link together with the task. And you do before running, double click and take a cross check whether you have your connection ready, whether you have set all the property, your transformation is okay or not. And you say Control S. So it looks like a valid. So what you're going to do is you simply say right button and you say start workflow. It will automatically open some monitor. See that it has opened the monitor. Can you see this? I'll show you here the number of source and target. So it's automatically is running phase now. So we'll talk about total source, total target, total affected rows. Okay. Can you see that? It's saying source, this is saying target. So source was total applied 16, affected 16, right? No rejections. This is saying 3. That means they would be grouped by 3 departments and the sum. Now I would like to show you something very important called your session log. Session log is basically 2 levels. One is the workflow level. It talks about what are the workflow. You can see that name of the workflow and so on, start time, end time. Whereas when you say in your task level, which is the most important aspect, once a failure happens, you get to know. This log is very important, where you understand what is happening and how it's happening. So here you will have the time, here you will have the name, here you will have the server name, folder name, workflow name, and what are the mapping you've been using in, right? And what is the start time, end time. It will also give you the table which you're using, right? We are being inserting the table. All the data is there, total number of affected rows. Okay, so let's go back in your database and figure out, as we have already truncated no data, let's select them. Here we go, it's saying 10, 20 and 30. So it's a group by department and the total salary is already done. So this is how you probably do it. I'll give you one more similar example. If I rerun what happened, there should be one error. I'll tell you what is the error is all about. So let's go and rerun it once again and see what is the error comes. We need to rectify the error by making some change. As we already said before, we'll make some changes. So it says, you can see that it's already succeeded, but if you can see, total is 60 number, but it's 3 rows which is rejected. And if you go to your database, it will still have only 3 rows. There's no changes happen because there's an error. Let's see what is the error it is. Okay, so let's go and see the error, what is talking about. Hey, here is the error. It's saying unique constraint, primary key is violated. That means we've been using a primary key here. So we have a primary key, right? We have a constraint. So you have a primary key. So duplicates cannot be entered. So there's a two way of doing of them. Either you can drop a constraint or there's an opportunity in Informatica itself. So you go to where in a workflow, double click this, go to a mapping. I've already said, you have an opportunity in Informatica to target where you decide you truncate the data before the loading. And you say, okay. Then any changes happen, you have to say Control S, you save them up. And then very much you go and rerun it from here. That's the best part. So once you rerun it, it will definitely start a fresh one. Can you see that? It's saying 3 affected. So it will not have any time you run n number of time, it will not have a problem because it will first of all truncate the data and it will load the data. It will have only 3 records. So this is how Informatica works altogether. So you saw what all. So let's refresh the info webinar. You'll get so many things. You get source, you get target, you get mappings. So if you click on mapping, it gives you what are the mapping has, what are the source being using in, what are the target being using in, what are the transformation is being there. So it gives you all the metadata altogether. Also it talks about which session I've created, right? And then it talks about what are the workflow I've been using in. So this is a complete metadata, and the benefit is you can export them and you can import them as XML. So I'll give you one example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a workflow. So I'm select this workflow. I'm going to select this. After that, I say export the metadata. Fine. It will create an XML. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the same name, and I'm saying in the desktop itself, if I create one folder, and I'll put there itself info XML, which is expo, and I say yes. Can you see that it's been exporting all my source, target, and all the XMLs. So the benefit is I can show you it's being already exported here. This is what is 26 KB. Now what is the benefit? You can restore that in a different folder. It is being specifically used for a migration perspective. For example, this is have a backup. I'll go here, go to the workflow, and I say, okay, I want to import them. I want to import them. So once you import the object, you go and decide where and which one. So in my case, I have already just exported one. So I'll take the same one, I'll select them up. Say next, you select all the items and also have to select which folder. So I said I'm going for a backup folder. So go here, click it OK, next, and the import going to start. Couple of things saying it's been the source is already there. What you're going to do is you can rename them. Because the sources are available, it will not overwrite. It might disturb your complete environment. So you can simply rename them so that it will not have any issue. It will automatically import. So it's been using and called the, I would say recovery management, or for any migration perspective you need them. So this will help you to make your export import confident, and you can have your lot of session working together. And you can see that it's being already, you can see that you can import, doing an import. You say import, it will start importing all the aspects. It's been done. Right? So if you can refresh, it will give you the complete mapping. This is what has been created. Okay. So as we already mentioned here, if you saw a couple of things, the important thing you saw the source, the target, and the mapping. As you can see that you have created a folder, you had a source imported, you had a kind of a target, and you see the transformation altogether. And after that, I'll give you one last aspect of the quick shortcut for making, not to go in all the time in the workflow and create tasks and other stuffs. So I'll give you more shortcut. Sitting in designer, what you do is go into mapping, right button on this, say generate workflow. So you can create a new workflow, need not to go and create there. So it's a wizard. You simply name them AGGR. It will automatically select the source and target. You can configure them here, source and target especially. Make them normal, say OK, click next, automatically creates that. Save it. Go into workflow, it will automatically create the workflow session for you. Okay. So you can see that this is what is created. I've made an AGGR. Double click that. You have the same mapping, aggregator, and you can still run the map. Control S, it is already saved. You can say start workflow. So here you don't have to go and click all the things together. It is recommended to generate the workflow from designer. No, Gopi's question is which is the recommendation. It's up to you which way you feel confident. You can save your time, you can do that. The only shortcut is shortcut, still you have to be in more naming convention and other stuff. Shortcut cannot give you much. Fine, makes sense. Okay, so probably it is going to be much for today's webinar. I probably handled a couple of stuffs and questions also. If you guys still have some question, I'll happy to help you up. And if you can see, as we've spoken from the server, you can just also log out if in case you don't want them up. So as I said, if you can create two different databases, one is for repository, fine, and one is for your domain, as already discussed before. Two schemas, one database instance, and then you connect them with your Informatica and start working upon. Before that, you have to go in repository, add the repository, and also need to configure the repository as already see here with the services, and then you create your mappings. First of all, you need to go and import your source, import your target, and so on, and then you create a mappings. So once you say Control S, all the time it's basically committed. And then I've already shown you the repository manager for the management of your complete stuffs, import and export. So that's all from my side, and I think I've taken a couple of your times. It was exceeded. Apologize for more time I've taken on. I wanted to give you more clear idea how Informatica works. So by the time now you must be knowing it, how Informatica being working in, how overall works. So despite of going on the website and slides, I'll probably have gone from a practical exposure. So if anybody has any question, I'll happy to help you if you want, and probably give you more detail if needed. It has been really pleasure, and I appreciate the concern, and I appreciate the timing, and I appreciate the patience you guys been having and listening for me, and close to 40 or 50 minutes altogether. So I'll wait for a question if you guys already having. Abhay said thanks a lot. It was great. Thanks a lot, Abhay. Big pleasure that you've been here. I appreciated your time, and I know within busy schedule people have been working and doing studying and so on to be coming here for a webinar. It is pleasure for our completely. Gopi says thank you very much. Thank you very much, Gopi. Being a pleasure. So I would be waiting for any question. If it is there, I'll probably happy to help you and send that. I'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes, and we can bind up the session. Sridhar says, great session, many thanks. Thank you very much, Sridhar, and I appreciate, looking forward to see you soon in one of the batches. Ravi says, very informative. Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Ravi. Sigatapu says, thank you. Abhay says, please show the unconnected transformation next lecture. Definitely we'll have to do, I'll show you, Abhay, definitely. It's going to be my pleasure. Divya says, session was very good. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Divya, to joining in and giving your time. You know, it was pleasure of ours completely. Abhay says, thank you very much. So guys, have a nice day and have a good night to everybody. Thank you, Dilip. Thank you for asking question as well. I hope I've replied a couple of questions to yours. Few of them were not being connected at this stage. Those are beginning webinar. So not taking advanced questions. Apologize for the same. Thank you. Have a nice day, and people who have been coming and taking the time, I would really, once again, I'll say thanks you very much, and I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Good night. Take care. Bye-bye.